Travel along, Catholic pilgrims, as we learn from St. Augustine, Doctor of the Church, while we read his book, Confessions. Hello, Catholic pilgrims. Thank you for joining me today. Now, I'm not positive, but I would say that we have nearly reached the climax of St. Augustine's conversion with our reading today. He is going to express some hard truths about himself and how he saw himself as he hears Ponticianus talk about monks and how they renounce the world for the sake of God. This is a very hard-hitting chapter, so let's get started by opening to Book 8, Chapter 7 on page 169. This was what Ponticianus told us. But while he was speaking, O Lord, you were turning me around to look at myself. For I had placed myself behind my own back, refusing to see myself. You were setting me before my own eyes so that I could see how sordid I was, how deformed and squalid, how tainted with ulcers and sores. I saw it all and stood aghast, but there was no place where I could escape from myself. If I tried to turn my eyes away, they fell on Ponticianus, still telling his tale. And in this way you brought me face to face with myself once more, forcing me upon my own sight so that I should see my wickedness and loathe it. I had known it all along, but I had always pretended that it was something different. I had turned a blind eye and forgotten it. But now, the more my heart warmed to these two men as I heard how they had made the choice that was to save them by giving themselves up entirely to your care, the more bitterly I hated myself in comparison with them. Many years of my life had passed, 12 unless I am wrong, since I had read Cicero's Hortensius at the age of 19, and it had inspired me to study philosophy. But I still postponed my renunciation of this world's joys, which would have left me free to look for that other happiness, the very search for which, let alone its discovery, I ought to have prized above the discovery of all human treasures and kingdoms, or the ability to enjoy all the pleasures of the body at a mere nod of the head. As a youth, I had been woefully at fault, particularly in early adolescence. I had prayed to you for chastity and said, "Give me chastity and continence, but not yet." For I was afraid that you would answer my prayer at once and cure me too soon of the disease of lust, which I wanted satisfied, not quelled. I had wandered on along the road of vice and the sacrilegious superstition of the Manichees, not because I thought that it was right, but because I preferred it to the Christian belief, which I did not explore as I ought, but opposed out of malice. I had pretended to myself that the reason why, day after day, I staved off the decision to renounce worldly ambition and follow you alone was that I could see no certain goal towards which I might steer my course. But the time had now come when I stood naked before my own eyes, while my conscience upbraided me. Am I to be silent? Did you not always say that you would not discard your load of vanity for the sake of a truth that was not proved? Now you know that the truth is proved, but the load is still on your shoulders. Yet here are others who have exchanged their load for wings, although they did not wear themselves out in the search for truth or spend 10 years or more in making up their minds. All the time the Ponticianus was speaking, my conscience gnawed away at me like this. I was overcome by burning shame, and when he had finished his tale and completed the business for which he had come, he went away, and I was left to my own thoughts. I made all sorts of accusations against myself. I cudgeled my soul and belabored it with reasons why it should follow me now that I was trying so hard to follow you, but it fought back. It would not obey, and yet could offer no excuse. All its old arguments were exhausted and had been shown to be false. It remained silent and afraid. For as much as the loss of life itself, it feared the staunching of the flow of habit, by which it was wasting away to death. people come up with a million excuses as to why they don't fully turn towards God, and St. Augustine lays out some of the most critical ones here today, so I thought we'd take a look at them. Number one reason that we don't fully turn to God is because we just enjoy our sin too much. St. Augustine's famous line says it all. Quote, "I had prayed to you for chastity and said, 'Give me chastity and continence, but not yet.' I was afraid that you would answer my prayer at once and cure me too soon of the disease of lust, which I wanted satisfied, not quelled." Unquote. Quite frankly, St. Augustine knows that chastity is the right way, but his lustful life, bodily pleasure, is too gripping, and he finds too much pleasure in it to imagine that life could be enjoyable without it. He lacks trust. And number two is that we want to follow our own way. St. Augustine writes, quote, "I had wandered on along the road of vice and the sacrilegious superstition of the Manichees, not because I thought that it was right, but because I preferred it to the Christian belief." Unquote. Why did he prefer it? Because Christianity rightly demands a different way of living than the world celebrates. He knew with the Manichees that he wasn't really answerable to anyone but himself. But with Christianity, you are answerable to God. So he ignored Christianity so that he could live as he wanted. And so many people do this. And what this is a lack of humility. And pride has stepped in. People try all the time to ignore God, pretend truth can't be found, or even decide to wait till the end of their lives to get serious about religion because they want to have fun and do things their way until the very end. Hell, then they won't mind that ticket to heaven, thank you very much. But deep down, we all know that this is the wrong way to be. And it will eat at you. It will make you miserable. And it will put your soul in serious danger if you try to hide from God or ignore him. May God grant us all the grace where we are stripped down, laid low, and made to see the sorry state that we are in, so that we will finally realize that this life is no game and we need to get right with God. We will pause here for today, Catholic Pilgrims. Don't delay in coming back tomorrow. And until then, live the faith boldly and travel well.